In today's photography world, it's super easy to get lost among all those lens choices. My name is Nico aka TrueNico, and in this video I'm gonna reveal my secret that will change your photography game forever. Get ready to simplify your gear, lighten your load, and discover those two amazing lenses that might just be all you ever need. Little disclaimer, this video is not sponsored at all. The lenses were bought by me and it's all my personal experience from the past 2.5 years. Let's start off with the first lens, which is the Tamron 35 to 150 mm aperture 2.8 to 4, and it's my favorite lens ever. I had this lens now for I think 2.5 years, and it was for most of this time the only lens I have owned for my Canon R6. And what I love about this lens, it's so versatile because at 35 mm you still have a kind of wide range to shoot at, and at 150 mm you have an incredible zoom. So you can either take portraits, you can either take landscape photography, close-ups, you can take wildlife photography, so it's really endless. At 150 mm you also have a very nice compression in the background, and blur is also very nice. So I really like this lens, and it has also built-in image stabilization, which is pretty handy for video shots, and it also offers a solid build, so in the 2.5 years it still has a very good quality. Now, what are the disadvantages of this lens? I found 3 points that I sometimes discover when I take pictures. So first of all, it's a little bit heavier than maybe some other lenses, but when you keep in mind the focal range you have, 35 to 150, the weight is not that heavy when you consider it. Plus the autofocus in video mode is usually a little bit louder, so you can hear it. But if you don't have a microphone that is directly on top of the camera, that shouldn't be a problem. And the last thing is obviously the price. This lens costs around 900 euros, which is not the cheapest lens, but it's also, compared to some other maybe RF lenses, it's also not that expensive. So I think it's a really great upgrade coming from a kit lens or maybe from some other lenses as well. Since I had some troubles on some recent vacation because I needed something wider than 35 mm, I discovered a different Tamron lens, which is the brother of this lens. It's the Tamron 17 to 35 2.8 to 4. You see the aperture is the same, and it's a very compact wide angle lens made by Tamron. It doesn't have image stabilization, but since it's a wide angle lens, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. It's very sharp. I like the low light performance. Because of 2.8 you still can get good shots in low light, and the build quality is the same as the other Tamron lens. They're all in the same category or the same line, I think. So the build quality is really good. The only thing I didn't like about this lens is that the autofocus is also a little bit louder, for example when you're shooting video, so you can technically hear it in the microphone, and that it doesn't have the image stabilization, but so far I didn't have any problems with it. The Canon R6 has a built-in stabilization, plus the wide angle, you don't need it that much, I would say. Now let's conclude why I think those two lenses is the best setup you can have as a photographer or maybe a videographer. So I think with 17 to 150 mm together you have an amazing focal range, plus the aperture on both those lenses is 2.8 to 4, which is perfect in low light conditions and nice to also get a nice bokeh in the background. And together those lenses cost around, I would say, 1,400 euros combined, which is a lot of money obviously, but if you see the value you get for the money, how long you will have something from those lenses, I think it's a really good price point. And if you buy them used, obviously it can go down to probably 1,000 euros together. So I think this is a great setup and the best setup I have found so far. Let me know in the comments what you think, if this is a setup you will consider. And if you are not sure about a camera to buy, I have 2 videos on my channel about a Fuji X100F and also about a Sony ZV-E10. So if you are more into cameras, you can check those out. Don't forget to subscribe, and I see you in my next video. Bye bye.